like that saying, out of failure comes success. It
Oh
holds
yeah,
true.
that's right.
Yeah, it does hold true, doesn't it? Yeah. So,
Mm.
what about yourself as a when did you get into music? Um,
Very young. I was probably fifth or sixth grade here. Really young kid. I was walking through the house one day and I saw what I found out was a guitar because I said, "Hey, what's that?" And my mom said, "Well, that's a guitar. Let me show you a couple of chords."
uh,
And I was probably wasn't much big enough to just get my arm around the darn thing.
uh,
Uh, and my life's never been the same since. I've just been chasing it the whole time because I instantly recognized, whoa, that's what those bands are doing. This is so cool. And so I would just drop the needle down and just try to figure it out, and never really had the ability to like I'm gonna there well first of all there is no great notation for how did the Beatles do it. It's better to listen to it and figure it out because there's all sorts of quirky weird things that you just can't document on the page.
hmm,
So the idea of reading music, especially when we think about Paul McCartney, I mean, he doesn't read music, he writes music, you
hmm.
know. And so the idea of that, so everything I did was just drop the needle down and like just listen and try to hit a note and like, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. And be wrong more times than right. But eventually you find it and you're like, oh, I figured out what they did.
Wow, yeah. I mean, Trevor, yeah, I call him bro. He's got his own kind of production, But what amazes me and what intrigues me at the same time is that, there's a generation that can make music from the very hard way. They do it the hard way. So they've got all these, I don't know, keyboard and all these recording gears. And I mean, I'm like the new generation, so I go on Logic Pro, and I put guitar, I put this and that, and I put it together, and it sounds great. I think, oh yeah, that sounds great. I'll throw some vocals on that, but I really admire people that can do it from scratch. Like I said, my brother Trevor, that's what he does. He has this. I don't even know because I've never touched them. I've only seen them in the studios. I have great admiration for people like you that are not the computer generation that are because you play the instrument. I can't play any instrument. I don't know how. If you give me a guitar, I wouldn't know what to do with
Well,
it.
I'll tell you what, the best time for you to start would have been 10 years ago, but the second best time is today.
Right.
So start.
Never too late. Yeah, it's never too late.
Never too late, yeah. Um, so how do you feel working on the old way, not the old way, but the classic way of doing things versus the new way of doing things, which is i.e. Logic Pro, because you've got everything there. So you've got the guitar, you've got what they call samples and loops, and you can just so how do you feel about that?
It's slower doing it the old way, but it always sounds more authentic because you can't duplicate. I can't sing the same vocal line exactly twice, and I can't play the same guitar part exactly twice. So to think about hitting a button and it comes out exactly the same every time, it's kind of funny. With my drum students, I don't know, maybe 10% of them or so will say, oh, yeah, I have a drum set. I got an electronic kit. I'm saying, oh, man, dude, if you want to become a pro tennis player, you have to get that Wii Sports little paddle thing and learn to play tennis with that way. You're never going to make pro. Don't do it. And it's the same thing with drum machines. Don't do it. Get authentic and it's going to happen. There's something different about every time you hit that drum or every time you strum the guitar. There's you strum the guitar, there's a million variables in there, and so there's sort of this authentic sound that comes out. And if we think about some of our favorite songs, some of our favorite songwriters, and some of our favorite voices, I happen to like Tom Petty a lot. That dude had a weird voice, and so a lot of times it's like what's unique about you, not what's capturing the same sound over and over again.
Yeah. Well, what about you, bro?
Yeah, well, I find I absolutely agree with that because I do actually I can play drums amongst other things, but I have recorded myself playing drums in some of my songs, but for ease of purpose at home, I do use a drum machine. That's the only thing, the only concession I have really, because I've got all the other instruments which I play, and that for me is where the satisfaction is. I don't use a computer to do my music. I mean, I literally have an accordion, I have a saxophone, I even have an old trumpet, which I can just about use. And obviously, I play the guitar and the bass, the piano, I play a keyboard, but not for other instruments. I got a great keyboard, and I actually recorded a cover version, as very much a one-off of Abide With Me. And I wanted to put in the last verse, it sort of built up to that. And I wanted to put the church organ, which I played on my great keyboard. So, yeah, I get the satisfaction from everything I'm hearing on there, apart from the drum line at the bass, at the bottom of it, is me playing it. And what I find is you can get good days and bad days when you're recording, as we all know. And I find each time nowadays, and I'm writing and recording all the time, really, but I learn a lot. I realise I know far more swear words than I thought, because when it all goes wrong and you mess it up, even though you can then drop yourself in to correct a line or a word, it's still frustrating. So, yeah, for me, it's an adrenaline burst. It's an adrenaline drug, really, the whole process from writing. I mean, as it happened yesterday, excuse me, I probably spent from 2 o'clock onwards till about 6 o'clock writing a song which I've been stuck on for a bit. I then went out to the cinema, which I arranged with somebody, to see Nuremberg. I recommend that film if you ever get a chance to see it, about Hermann Goering, etc., but a real going off at a different subject there. Came back about 10:30 and carried on till 2 this morning, frustrated on this song, but I finally got it. And that for me is it. I think I dropped my whole self into the process, because I think it defines me, my music, the songs I write, the recordings. And as you said earlier, Cuz, the satisfaction from the end results, and I put it in, I've mixed it.